we're actually going to start by prepping all the edges first. So what you want to do is get your prep wash, spray a generous amount of it, and you're going to go over all the edges. I go about an inch past it because you don't want any of the dirt to be present, okay? And you can see right here that amount of dirt already, and this is after we washed it too, guys. So you want to really make sure we get around it. Once all the edges are good, we're going to go ahead and put it down. All right, next, go ahead and spray a decent amount of prep solution that you mixed up earlier. And you're going to get rid of all the dust. What I like to do too is I actually go around the perimeter as well, like the fenders, mainly because you don't want any dirt to be introduced. I'm going to go and grab the piece. So I got magnets, and the magnet actually does not work on the hood. It's not steel like the fender, but what I like to do is actually use the fender to hold it, okay? You're not trying to align anything yet, so you don't have to have it perfect, just have it loosely close enough. And then you can see that everything is held now. And we're going to go ahead and peel from this corner, okay? And just kind of start this way. Try to get it to the bottom of here. All right, so now you can go ahead and pull it back and just align it, okay? Notice I haven't put any pressure just yet, okay? So this should be free, including that one. If it isn't, you're gonna release it, okay? And we're gonna go ahead and start with this corner. This notch right here is a little bit bigger than the corner. This is still freely moving. You're going to go ahead, have it roughly about here. The corner is surrounded by that. All you're going to be pushing with your thumb is going to be that much, and that's it. Okay? Now, you're going to go to the other side. Remember, this is still very much free. We're going to do the exact same thing on this side. So before I go ahead and push everything out, this still has the backing paper on, which is actually a very important concept here. And you see how free it is? If it's not, you can just do that. And now, this is your next alignment point. Look at this right here. Notice how it's actually not quite, it hasn't reached yet because we haven't pulled enough. So the next step is to pull just a little bit more, and you're trying to flatten it as much as possible. Okay, so you're gonna hold this side right here, just pull down. And all your goal is for it to pretty much be right to the edge. You don't necessarily have to have it all the way. And we're going to go ahead and use the magnets to hold it in place. You can see that we've created enough tension, and then it's actually created a nice little flat area here. So from here, you don't have to go right to the line, but maybe about ½ an inch. And just go straight up. And look at the alignment right here as well. That's the perfect amount, okay? So you can double check that before you actually squeegee. But now I can just work my way, right, out this way. Okay, once you get closer to the edge, you can actually pull it a little bit, just like that, and work your way here. All right. So notice how I still have about an inch, ½ an inch, about an inch past the line, right? We don't want fully, okay? We're going to do the exact same thing over here. You want to make sure that this is loose. There we go. And we're going to just go ahead and straight up. When you do your squeegee techniques, notice how I'm not going horizontal. I'm actually in an angle. Okay? And this is going to allow you to glide it across with a good amount of overlap. Okay? When you pull this and you want to pull this, don't ever pull the part that doesn't have backing paper, because you might end up stretching an area that you don't want to stretch. And once we get about 6 inches away, you can just go straight out, because you got an exit point which is going to go this way as well. And then since we already aligned that point, you can just go straight outwards this way, and then straight outwards this way as well. And then all you have to do now is just flip it back. There you go. And then we're going to go ahead and do number 2. This is the number 2 peel. And start from one side, just work your way to the other side, just like that. You're going to hold this side as well and pull down. Notice when I pull down, you're going to get closer now because we're slowly pulling it down. Just make sure all the tension is gone and you flattened it. Okay? And you're also looking at this little tension right here. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Because there was a line right here, I'm going to go ahead and go out this way. All right? So we've centered it down here. You're going to just watch this right here and work your way all the way across. Go back this way. When in doubt, just overlap a little bit more than you would normally. So you can see how much I'm overlapping. My angle is very non-aggressive. One thing that I want to clarify is if you notice, I do about 2-3 strokes on one side and then I go to the other side. What happens is if you tend to just do the one side, I think it's easier for people, but the problem is you may kind of uneven it out a little bit. So by doing this way, you can really even out the tension points of this piece right here. This does look flat, and relatively this hood is flat. But I can release it now, and look at this. I can literally pull this, and as I pull it, you can see the tension release. So now we're at the final stage of this. Same thing, you can go from left to right. Go ahead and push this down. Now, we don't really have a pull tab. However, this should line up perfectly, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and loosen it up a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and get this line, because that's a line that there was a backing paper cut, right, from our machine. So I'm gonna go ahead and line it up really clean. I'm gonna pull this without pulling or stretching. You can see that's plenty. And then this one is gonna go slightly past the line. You don't want it on the line because then it won't look good, but you want it slightly past like that. So same thing, we're gonna follow the same pattern. We're gonna go center, out. The key here, guys, is going slowly and evening it out. So let's say, I'm just gonna do this on purpose. I made it an aggressive wrinkle right there because it is gonna happen from time to time. Because all you need to do is pull it back, get it about an inch away, and then just heat it. Okay, and this is the part about heating. Let it sit for about 15 seconds before you do anything to it. All right, so I'm gonna go to the other side. Oh yeah, the alignment is perfect. It's right past the line. And then we're gonna go ahead and work our way out again. Once you reach about 4 to 5 inches away from the edge, you could actually just go straight down. So I'm gonna go from the middle and work my way. Whoops, I made a little bit of a, no problem again. Key is to just stay calm and then work your way in this side to side motion right here. Okay? Look at that. Same thing here, guys. Remember, I heated this a little bit. I'm just going to double check that, yep, it's right past it as well. This was the area that had the line completely gone. That's what I'm saying about vinyl. It is very, very pliable and forgiving in a lot of ways. Okay, and I'm towards the edge. Pull that back a little bit. Go down. we have the whole hood pretty much laid. We're gonna make sure we actually post heat before we do the edges. Because what the post heat does also is it pretty much checks your work. You know, did you put enough pressure? Did you not? Are the bubbles gonna come out? I'd rather have the bubbles come out now rather than actually do it after the edges are completely done. So notice how I put it above my shoulder like this. And this just makes sure that you're not damaging the car when you're working on it. So this is a pro tip as well. High heat all the way. And you're gonna just work your way. I like to do the same thing. So remember this in 3-part. I'm gonna half it down the middle because it's hard to kind of go all the way across. So 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. And some areas are gonna bubble. And when it does, all you have to do is push it out with this glove. You can see right here, I got a little bubble. This is the part where the edges are done. All right, so I'm gonna show you in the driver's side corner, right over here. Go ahead and use a good amount of heat. Concentrate it for about 4 to 5 seconds. And then you're going to use your thumb or your index finger. You're gonna just mold it into that area. And look at that. That's getting really good. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna grab my squeegee as well. Yeah, look at this corner now. Completely molded. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and work on this edge since we're already here. And what you wanna do is, you don't wanna get too excited right away and just go straight down. So what I'm doing is I'm just using my thumb and going down gradually, and you'll see it fold over, okay? Now once you're down here, this is when you can actually start folding it over. All right, if you can't access some areas, use a squeegee. That's where it's useful, like here, and then look at that. Now we're gonna go ahead and go to the other side. 5 seconds, okay? 5 seconds. Okay, we'll go ahead and just go straight down and use your finger to really mold it in. Around the edges as well, but we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing. The vinyl is actually sticking to the fender, okay? Notice how it's all stuck. And you might have to unravel certain areas like here. And then we can just focus on getting it off. This front is totally fine. This right here is definitely stuck. You see that right there? There's some dip in this hood a little bit, so you can see that right here. You're gonna go to your phone, you're gonna open it up. Before you open it all the way, I like actually leaving it about 1.5 feet up. And let's go ahead and get this corners right here, because this can be a problem. And I'm gonna show you in close up exactly what I'm doing here. So you're gonna use the squeegee and just get really underneath that area, okay? Just like that. And if you have to, all right? And then once you're here, it's the same thing, use that wrap glove. And then now when you open it, you don't need to worry about any of that area. So you can go ahead and open it all the way now, give it a nice heat. From the top, and then we're gonna do the same thing. I like watching it from the top side like this. This goes just a little bit, remember that? And then you're just gonna gradually work your way. Again, you see I'm gradually doing it. I do it about every, 8 to 12 inches. And then once you get here, so you wanna divide and conquer those fingers right here. So you wanna use some heat right here, right? While it's still nice and warm, you can go ahead . Look at that. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing for the other side. So go ahead, start from here. All right, so now that we're in the center, I like holding this. You're going to go ahead and focus on the edge first right here. And then since this is the curvature, I start there as well. And then same thing on this side. All right, so that pretty much sums up the hood. But one area that you really want to watch out for is, look at this edge right here. You do not see any of the other color, the original color, once it's wrapped from the outside. But if you look up here, this is what it'll look like. You can go even further down just a little bit, but I wanted to show you exactly how it'll look like. So once it's done, go ahead and close it down. You can go ahead and do final inspection. What we like to do is spray some of this waterless, and you get to kind of enjoy your work. And look how clean that is.